Okay, so Zach, we lose to Hopkins second game of the season. We just got done talking about that. Just did not play well. We had a big meeting after that. Some of you seniors, I would assume, were kind of trying to hash out what had happened and go through that, because I don't remember so much about us players having some issues with each other.
Well, I'd say Sean started it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sean started it. I remember it was Sean, Alan, myself. I think Peller was there. Danny was there. I mean, everybody was there, and it was. I tell you what, it was a necessary conversation. It wasn't a long conversation, but things that people had to say got said. And I think after that, guys just kind of shake it off, and you move forward.
Right.
And you play the way that you're expected to play after that. But it was needed.
It was needed.
The loss was a little raw. We were pretty angry at ourselves as a team, and pretty angry with each other.
Okay, so then, like I said, we played Armstrong right after that. They were a good team, and we beat them, and then we win, including that Armstrong game, 22 in a row.
What was the score of the Armstrong game?
51-44.
Oh, so not a.
So it was, it was pretty close, but they were good. But we hammered a lot of teams that year, through our conference. Even the Edina games, we beat Edina by 24, beat Edina by 3 at Edina, so that was closer. So we get to that Hopkins game. What do you remember about that Hopkins game in the sectional final? Obviously the payback aspect. Do you remember much about that game? Just any particular plays or how the game went? Or not much?
A, I knew we had to win. And B, I knew we weren't going to lose. I mean, I just knew that coming in there, because there was, that early loss, we never forgot that. I think that was probably a catalyst why we went all the way through, trying to get the Hopkins to beat them where we beat them. And I think we were happy to play them.
Yeah.
We really were.
Wanted a piece of them.
Yeah. I'm glad that they actually showed up to play.
That was good. Okay, so we get past Hopkins. We get into the state tournament. Bemidji, we kind of hammered them by about 20 in the quarterfinals of that game. Do you remember much about that Bemidji game? Or not really?
Wasn't worried about that game.
Okay.
Maybe we were looking past a few people, but we kind of figured out where we were going to land.
Yeah, okay. And that's against White Bear Lake. They had won 50-some games, I think, at that point. They were defending state champs, and they had been kind of mowing people down in the St. Paul Suburban Conference. And that, I feel bad for you. I still feel bad for you, because you got into foul trouble, and there were some bad calls on you in that game.
Oh, they were brutal.
Yes. Okay, so talk about that. Some terrible calls.
No, I'd say, I'll speak for me, probably came out way too tight. Just wound way too tight in that game, and for me, I'd say I didn't adjust. I didn't recognize that they were gonna, try and call quick fouls and do stuff like that, and didn't adjust quick enough, and managed to make it work. But I do remember that game. That was a tough game. I think both teams were tight. Teams were tight because there was so much history between the teams and the players and everything else, that I think we were just waiting for the last couple of minutes of that game to see how it was going to shake out, because nobody really took a big swing at the other team.
Yeah, it was kind of a slow game, kind of methodical, a lot of mistakes. Nobody shot very well. I mean, that's kind of my memory of it. And then you in foul trouble. I mean, we lose.
And no points.
Yeah, exactly. 41-39. I mean, it was. If you play a full game, we can beat that team. I mean, if you ask me. So it's.
If I'm not in foul trouble.
If you're not in foul, that's what I'm saying. If you play a full game in your normal minutes, I think there's a good chance we can beat them, and then we can handle North in the state championship game. So, and then the end of the season, we're in the third place game. What do you remember about that game against Duluth Central? Remember much about that?
No.
Not really?
No.
We hammered them, though. I mean, we beat them by 19. So.
Yeah, but by then, I mean, the loss to White Bear was a pretty good sting. So.
Yeah.
Not that as a team we were going to let down. Again, there's the expectation that we got to roll over the top of this next team,
Right.
Make sure it doesn't get any worse. And what was the score of that? I don't even remember.
Duluth Central, 57-38.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a pretty good score. It's
Well,
more like it.
One more question, Zach. Well, what was it like, because you were in high school when Lincoln closed, and Sean Day was a Lincoln kid, Dan Grant was too. What was the merger like when those Lincoln guys came over to Jefferson in those days?
Well, obviously the program got better because we had more athletes from the top down. It was just a matter of, I think, just readjusting to having Sean and ultimately Dan, as part of the team. But I'm glad it happened. We would not have been the team that we were had they not closed Lincoln down. I can't imagine not having Dan or Sean on that
Right.
on that team.
All right.
So we were a beneficiary of it for sure.